All right, we're 12:15. We're going to get started. Oh, there's another good friend, Alan Garcia. Thanks for joining, Alan. Good to see you, Philip, as well. So let's get started, everybody. Without further ado, welcome to episode 1 of the Copilot Show, AI and Beyond. My name's Chris Cognetta. I will be your host, along with our special guest speaker, Igor Shvets. Say hi, Igor.
Hi, everybody.
And, today is a really special day because we've done a couple webinars in the past, and the audience, the community, has spoken about doing this more and more and more. Not only about real world solutions that Igor is going to present, which is AI in the real world for voice-enabled healthcare, but also this is for you guys. And really, the community is what drives the content. So we certainly want to make sure that this series is ongoing. And if there's something that you want to see or something that you're interested, or maybe even want to present, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll give you some contact information at the end. But our goal is to share real world AI stories, help let everybody understand that this is not a fad. This is not something that is going to go away. This is something that's very powerful. It's already being used. I think in Build, they said there's over 300,000 customers using Copilot in some aspects today. And that doesn't even include GitHub. That's just the Microsoft solution. Our community is an open format. There's no locks on the mics, no locks on the cameras. If you want to come off and ask a question or stop us, it's just like an Ask the Expert session that you may attend at a conference. We're here for you. We're trying to help get value. And just like I said, if it's about healthcare in this particular slide, doesn't mean it couldn't be applied in other solutions. And Igor will do his best to point that out as well. Please, if you can, like and share these posts so we can help grow the audience, get more people involved. We already have speakers lined up through August, so excited about that as well. And we'll share a recording link that you'll get after the meeting if you want to share with your teams, that kind of thing. And then, as I mentioned, ability to, hey, Chris, that was great. We want to see X, right? We want to know about X. Show us how to do this. Take us on Azure AI Studio. There's a bunch of fellow MVPs on the call. They're also willing to come in and present, talk about AI, and help do some of that as well as Dynamics and Power Platform people on the call. So, you may or may not know me. I'm one of the founders and chief technology officer over at Congruent X. I've been in dynamic space for over 20 years. I've been doing AI for the last probably 3.5 years. Started with conversational intelligence back in Sales Insights, conversational intelligence in Teams and those capabilities, and then being on the beta team for Viva and now Copilot for Sales. And then, of course, all the Azure OpenAI Studio. So, I don't think there's any experts in the field today. We're all learning together, and that's what's really exciting about this call. So you can learn more about me and our company at congruentx.com. And Igor, glad to have you on the call. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me, Chris. Hi, my name is Igor. I'm the founder of Avantgarde 365. It's a consulting boutique firm based in Montreal, Canada. As you will see in the presentation, there's certain things will be in French. So it's going to give you some French Canadian flavor. I've been in dynamic space since, I don't want to reveal my age, but about 2014, 2015. That's been a while. Deeply in love with the Microsoft suite of solutions, and especially I see the opportunities that come with AI. Those who know me for long enough, I used to be the biggest AI skeptic, but now we use AI in production. So the leap that we've seen in the recent years, even a skeptic like me was able to convert. So what we're going to talk today is actually I have a little gift for you. After about 5 minutes of torture by PowerPoint, we're going to look at the real solution. The real solution is, as of this week, it's in the beta testing in one of the hospitals in Quebec. The idea was to use not the particularly trained algorithms. The idea was to record medical notes and basically massage them so this becomes a good, well-formatted, well-presented data in both English and French. So there are going to be a number of technologies that are going to be using it. So it and the demo that you're going to see, you're going to have some things that exist for troubleshooting purposes because it's still in the testing in the hospital. So if you're going to ask me why would you want to use it, because off-the-shelf product exists. First, flexibility and cost, right? So everything you're going to see so far, we did not write a single line of code. We basically used Azure OpenAI Studio, and we leveraged out of the box Microsoft solution, just fine tune it with the prompt engineering. That's all we have done. Uh, I know we have a very short time frame, so we will not be able to see all the technical details. But if there is any interest, connect with me on LinkedIn and we can discuss it further. So the idea today is just to show you what technologies we use and what is the outcome. So do we have any questions before we start? Going once, going twice. No. Okay.
I'll stop sharing, let you share, okay? And then,
absolutely.
like I said, we'll be stopping along the way. If you have questions, you guys want to ask, raise your hand. We can get to you that way. You can come off mic. If you're shy, you can just type in the window. But you can, the topic, right? Notes. All of us in business have some type of note, some type of information that is what Chuck likes to call bad data, right? How can we use the AI capabilities to fix that problem, right? How can we make it readable or better, or even multi-language aware, right? For those of you like in call center scenarios, or that you have different speaking or typing in different languages, you could actually use the AI to translate that into a single set of notes as well, where a single rep could work both types of cases in different languages. So if you got a call center today and you got different languages, you could possibly use that to do the translation as well. So lots of cool ways that this could work outside of healthcare, but Igor's solution is focused on healthcare. Igor, you ready to share the screen?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
All right, so let me share my screen. So I'm gonna share the side screen of my, you should be able to see the PowerPoint screen, right?
Yep, if you want to just hit the show from here so we can see it a little bigger.
Okay. Do we see my PowerPoint at this point or no?
We see the PowerPoint. Yeah, we're just hit the from here on the presentation so we can see it.
Okay,
full
I'm
screen.
doing
Full
it.
screen.
It's on full screen now. Can you see it?
We're seeing the whole thing to the left. I
Okay.
say we're okay. Let's keep going.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's.
And if everybody can read it, yay, good, looks good. Okay.
It's acting up. Okay.
Okay.
So let me go over it. I don't want to stay long in PowerPoint. Like I really want to show the solution, so we'll go fast. So basically, the agenda is we're going to show you basic patient information system with a task management for patient care. We're going to be talking about patient notes and what behind the scenes. It's Azure Services Integration. We're going to be talking about Azure Blob Storage for document storage, Azure AI Search for document indexing, and RAG. Little bit of custom connector and Power Automate. So basically, what's the patient information system? It's the central patient data repository, right? It stores complete or partial patient profiles and facilitates data management. The key information categories is it has personal data, it has specific communication, medical history for informed care, and diagnostics for accurate treatment. So
Igor, can we assume that's Dataverse in this case?
Absolutely. Everything is Dataverse. And what we're seeing right now, there are huge medical systems, but they don't allow flexibility and integration and all their AI features we can leverage on them, right? So everything you're going to see is Dataverse, and everything you're going to see was actually fine-tuned for the particular demand from the particular hospital in Quebec, right? So everything you see, it's not really something we created. It was created based on the request from the nurses, right? And with the challenges they have with the current system. So In the patient management system, you have appointment scheduling, medical administration, treatment plans, follow-up appointments, diagnostic case, task delegation, all the regular things, right? So the digital patient encounter notes. So what it has, it's going to have a comprehensive patient records, including textual description of condition, symptom, and progress. And audio files will allow us to capture this data, right? So before, what used to happen, all this data was lost. So all the patients' data was lost, and we could not leverage unless they fill the special forms. It was very hard to chat with your data and ask specific questions to your data, right? And even when you use audio files, the system, what they used to do, they just used to take the data and throw a blob into the system. But right now, with artificial intelligence, with the Azure OpenAI, we're able not only to take the data, but format it and give it a certain format that we need for that we can read, that we can structure and extract the information that was not possible to do before. So the approach that was taken, Azure Blob Storage is very important for document storage, right? So we only index the data that's actually not in Dataverse, but in the blob storage. Because the data in Dataverse, it could be in a certain flags, but after you finish whatever needs to be finished and you have an official document, then you save it and this document gets indexed. And this is what we use for to talk with your data procedure. It's actually
Now,
based on the medical request and certain security privacy policies that exist in Connect. So
and,
it's not
and a
just
big cost savings too, right? Is a big cost savings from storing these type of documents inside of your Dynamics environment, right? Or your Dataverse tables.
exactly,
So for those of
but
you
the
who don't
cost
know, Dataverse at last check was $40 per gig per month. Azure Blob Storage is 49 cents per gig per month. So huge advantage here on using tools like we use MSCRM add-ons to extract data from Dynamics and put it into Azure Blob. Again, these capabilities can be used to reduce the cost and give you a place to create those indexes. And Igor, why do we need indexes, right? And you're going right there.
exactly. So basically, and this is all simple to configure. It's native, right? So then you have Azure AI Search that creates index for the document storage in Azure Blob Storage that will facilitate natural language processes and enable chat interaction with the data. And then you will search enhancement in your Canvas tabs that improves user ability to retrieve patient records and allow to quick access for the notes, right? So uh, all this to connect, we use a custom connector that connects to Azure OpenAI service that we have a Whisper model for audio and text transcriptions. Maybe we're actually going to move it to the different one with the recent news that we have from 4.0, but it's not available in Canada, so it's complicated. With chat model to summarize the data and conversational interactions. So we speak with the Azure OpenAI services to take non-structured data and using prompt engineering, we give it a certain formatting, right?
So
And
let's talk a little bit about this because you did mention in your intro that you didn't write any code, right? And here I see
exactly.
custom connector development. You know, everybody listening on the phones thinking, oh my God, I got to be a developer. So what's really going on here with this connector?
This connector just speaks to the OpenAI services. So it's not, it takes the API. So I wouldn't consider the development, right? So you even actually have a code snippet from Azure AI Service Studio. You just take the code as is and you create a custom connector inside your Dynamics environment. So
Right.
it's
It'll
not
be a Power Platform connector.
exactly. It's going to be Power Platform connector, and the data is exposed there. That's all there is to it. So it's not a development. It's more like taking an API, configure a connector that you can leverage in a low-code environment.
Yeah.
And obviously, you will have good old content safety features, all the medical notes that go for sensitive contact and flagging potential risk for the patient safety. Those all the things run on the background. This is something we're going to see in a few seconds.
And if you're in Dataverse, you're doing this already, right? You're using Power Platform connectors to talk to different web services. That's all this is, right? You're calling the Azure OpenAI services, no different than maybe you would call an Apollo AI or your ERP system or something like that, through a low-code Power App connector where you're just exposing that web resource to it. It's not a developer thing at all. We've got people on the team that are less than 2 years in, and they're doing this type of work. So this is definitely the new low-code, no-code paradigm that we're seeing in all the things that are happening here. So thanks for pointing that out, Igor.
Exactly, 100%. And obviously, all the other automations that are handled with Power Automate. Anywhere you need to have the glue between your back end and the front end, this is how you do it. So let's finish with the PowerPoint, and let's look at the real application the way it is.
All right, excited to see it.
Able to see a different screen. So, and I apologize for the French content. It's just not enough time in a day to convert everything into English. Do you see my Canvas apps here?
We do.
Okay, so you have your usual Canvas apps interface. You have the name of the hospital, you have the name of the patient, you have the age, you have the bed, the number, the treating doctor, the name of the institution. Just like in any app you have, you can filter your patient information. And what we assume here that the patient already been admitted. And in French, they call it ADL. In English, they call it baseline, okay? And this is one of the critical components, and this is where the first usage of artificial intelligence comes in. A baseline is when you're in the hospital, I create a very simple baseline for Anne-Sophie. What it says here is vital signs. So your blood pressure, your heart rate, your respiration per minute, your body temperature, obviously in Celsius, not in Fahrenheit. Sorry about that. This is your baseline of how you were admitted, okay? And once you're being discharged from the hospital, obviously your conditions has to be better than once you were admitted, right? So this is the baseline. So what the system does, you have your baseline that you import in the system, and subsequent notes that the nurse will make will give you opportunity to compare with the baseline of how the patients get in, right? So and let's look how the nurse can take her notes, right? So to do this, you add the notes. Okay, it will say nurse note 1. You will say who are you? Are you the nurse or you the doctor? And then you click on save. The backend is Dataverse. So as you created the nurse note, you can actually dictate the audio, give description, or what you can do, you can go and you can upload the file to the system. We're going to take a sample nurse note. You can add it. You can listen to it, whatever the file you add, and you just take note 1, and you will add it here. Okay. Again, you can listen to it. You can remove it. Let's say, and you can have one or multiple notes. Either you pick up the MP3, or you have or you write a note like this. Once you finish this, what you need to do, you need to basically merge them all into one file, and then the artificial intelligence would run over the data. So let's say we're gonna do transcribe, and we're gonna say okay. So what's gonna happen now? We're gonna pick up all these notes. We're gonna assemble it into the one file. We're gonna run Azure OpenAI to sum up and improve the data, and then the note would appear. Unfortunately, it takes about a minute, so you will see a result in a minute or so. So for now, if you have any questions, that's going to be the right time to ask. While we
for those of you wondering about this interface, so this is a Canvas app. It has custom functionality, but at the end of the day, it's no different that you inserting a custom page or form inside of your Dynamics or your Dataverse environment or your model or Canvas app to do this type of functionality. You notice the ability to not only use the microphone and grab the audio file, uploading the audio file, but also from what I see here, Igor, they would attach multiple files and then press
Exactly.
the transcribe button, basically bringing them all together. And it looks like that's been completed now.
Exactly. So let's see if it's no. It's actually it's a big long file. It was done on purpose like that. So just give it a minute or so. It will work. Because basically the original client was it was a psychiatric hospital, so they have a lot of data that they
Sure.
need to parse, right? So that's
No,
and they don't
no,
need it to be
awesome.
real time, right? So the
Yeah.
idea is you stick with the cheaper version because Azure allows you to have something that's more real time. But the more you go more real time, the more expensive it is, right? Yeah, yeah,
Another great point that we were talking about earlier, the Azure cost. So when you talk about Azure OpenAI services, you have the different large language models, LLM 3.5, 3.5 Turbo, and now the 4.0 model. As they continue to do this, the models get faster and faster and more responsive. However, the price for the 4.0 model is substantially more than the price of the 3.5 model. So you could have an instantaneous response. When I say instantaneous, it's still 3 or 4 seconds of parsing and getting that information there. But the AI would do the summary faster than waiting with the 3.5 model may take a little longer. So that's a consideration in cost. One of the things we're considering in our app Dialogue Copilot is to give you the kind of good, better, best approach where if you want to go really fast, you click the button and it uses that model. You're just going to pay more to process it. But maybe that time that the nurse in this case is waiting, that time is more valuable than paying a little extra to process it faster. So there's some capabilities there, but looking at what you're seeing and how you can apply this to really any industry that you need to take notes, meeting notes come to mind, right? All kinds of things that you can upload. And even the new phones now have the ability to do voice to text and just being able to insert that file right from your phone in a Power App and insert it right into your patient care or your CRM system is really where these technologies are headed.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. And right now we see that the process being completed, and let's see the outcome. And believe it or not, based on the voice data and some massaging with the prompt engineering, we do have a medical note that was originally in French, translated to English. And the most important thing is, just with the prompt engineering, no code, it will take a blurb of text and will format it in the way that it's easier to read. So it's a big difference to just having the words without any formatting, and it puts formatting as well for you, right? So the more data you put here, the better it's going to be. And obviously, you have the hate, the sexual content, automutilation, and violence has been detected for you. So if it detected anything else here, let's say sexual content or violence, the number would increase. You're going to have a sad face, and then we can send an alert to see what's going on. So again, based
So you're doing
on
some sentiment analysis in there as well.
exactly sentiment analysis always built in to pick up whatever needs to be picked up. Now, but it's not over. So just from the voice data, you able obviously extract it to PDF. So you can click on this and it will generate the PDF. So you're going to have a nicely formatted document based on your voice recognition. So we'll give it a few seconds for it to pick up, but this is not end. Like now that everything was transcribed, you can come here and you can ask direct questions. I will ask for it. Sum up evaluation of answer feet in 5 points in English. Like obviously it's going to be in French. So it will give you based on the nurse notes 5 points on her condition. So what you can ask, what kind of interventions were put for Anne-Sophie for nutritional and psychological plan, and ask it to translate in English. Because once you have the data, you can have it in both language. But I did see that the translation does not work 100% of the time, so we're working on it. But as you can see, so translation to English, the intervention put in place to support Anne-Sophie on nutritional and psychological level, and it gives you a summary of what's going on. So you can ask direct questions, or you can ask abstract questions, right? It's a good chat with your data. And let's say, since she's a cancer patient, you can ask a different question. What was Anne-Sophie's smoking history? Is there any family history of cancer? Because before, you had to go and look into a whole bunch of notes that are non-structured, that you had to do Control F. It was very hard to do. Right now, just ask the question, and it says Anne-Sophie is a former smoker, and she quit 5 years ago. She has a family history of breast cancer of her mother. Okay.
And this is a common problem, right? It doesn't really matter the industry that you're in, right?
Exactly.
We got a question from Danielle, and I might have missed it, but is this connected to CRM or EMR on the back end? So, Igor, you want to answer that?
It can be connected to anything you want, because Dataverse is one of the super flexible platform that allows you to have connection to whatever you want, right? For this particular use case, we just use Dataverse behind the scene to keep the patient information, because in Quebec, we're still implementing a standard province level patient management system. So right now, patient's information is still in different platforms, but eventually you can have a patient data in the system. You can take all the notes, and then it can sync to the central patient management system if it's not a Dataverse.
And we're seeing this a lot, right? All the different apps that people are building. This is an example of that ancillary app that handles this problem, right? It's not, it could be tied into your system. It may just be something running on their desktop. It may be something that is running in Dataverse. Can it consume data from Dataverse virtual tables?
Absolutely, 100%. Actually, it's heavily based on the virtual tables. We can have the whole new session on virtual tables. It's an amazing feature that allows you an insane flexibility. So,
Alan, these tools are the same as Igor, these tools are the same as all the other Power Platform capabilities, right? So the connector can still see the data, what you go do with that data, and you get the answer. The challenge, and in this case, they're writing it out to Azure Blob so that the details are stored in there. So it would be like, even if you got an answer off the virtual tables, if you wanted to see that answer or do something with that data after, then you'd want to store it off as well. And the little side thing that's going on here, in case you didn't catch, is the fact that he's adding all of these things to that index for this customer, right? So it's not just about, or this patient, I should say, right? But think about that in your businesses. Maybe it's a customer, maybe it's customer service. I noticed Deb from Deb Livingston is on. Hey, Deb, from Reemployability. Maybe it's their claims case, and they want to be able to know everything about their claims case just by asking it a question, by grabbing that data, consolidating those notes into Azure Blob, and then running the AI against it. You'd be able to ask it questions like this, or even canned. In Dialogue Copilot, we have canned questions. So the way Igor was typing that in, we've got the top 5 or 6 questions that everybody wants to know about a case. They click the button and it says, yeah, this case was created on X. Here's the actions that we're taking, and we're waiting on X. So lots of real world capabilities in here. Marcus is asking multiple languages, and the answer is yes. But that's the capabilities of the platform, and not us. We're not doing that, right? So the transcription services of Teams and where you upload the files from, all of that isn't to bear when it comes to the translation. Charlie saying, is it possible to connect to a separate database that contains translations for customized terms? I would say yes, that you could point AI at a custom, you'd want to, it'd be really cool if you created an SLM, which had those terms in it and it could ask and use that as its knowledge base. But certainly you could simply put those terms and what they mean in a PDF and add it to the Azure index, and then it would know those terms and it'd be able to respond to those terms. Great questions, guys. Thank you for the interactions. Igor, I know it's 12:45 right now. We're coming to the end. Is there any other things you want to pop out?
Two things very, very quickly, and this is just going to somewhat answer a few questions. Based on this information, you can click and create a PDF. So from the voice information, you have a beautifully formatted PDF available for you. And the last thing I want to show quickly, and this has to do with because now we've seen you can interact with the patient notes, right? And one more thing we can show is how you can interact with the baseline. Essentially, what it does, it takes the most recent nurse's notes and compares it to the baseline. You're going to see it in French, but you're going to see in a second what it means, even if it's not in English. Just give me 1 second. So here you have your vital sign, you have your blood pressure, your cardiac frequency, your body temperature, respiration, oxygen, as you were admitted, and current. So from non-structured data, we were able to check the patient condition upon the admission and discharge. And you don't need to create like a special fields in your systems. You don't need to, we can just take notes, and part of the admission process, part of the discharge process, we can just take this and show it to the nurses or a doctor who will be able to compare the two, and it can even go one step forward. It can present tendencies as well, right? So this is the last thing I wanted to show. So
absolutely amazing, Igor. I mean, thank you so much for not only coming on and being our first show, but also presenting a solution that I hope all of you on the call can see. This is a real world use case of AI, right? Using AI to take away the translations, take away the time for somebody listening to the audio and typing in those notes. Think about that in conversations like Dialogue Copilot and how that'll help, as well as other areas with the notes and what you can do in your CRM system. I'm sharing with you guys our new URL, which is the AICopilotShow.com. You'll be able to go there for the next upcoming webinars. The next one will be June 26th. And also a reminder that the San Antonio Summit for North America is coming October 13th through the 17th. I want to thank Igor for coming out today and sharing his things. Thanks, Igor. And I want to thank all of you for coming out and for being a part of the channel. Please provide feedback. Please send emails or contact us on LinkedIn on what other content you'd like to see. And we're going to keep bringing real world AI solutions until we help you change the world. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great day, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you may be. See you next week or next month.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Chris.